Hi there, and welcome to this beginner's guide to getting around in Elite Dangerous. The game's still in its alpha phase. It's 25th of May, and as you can see, we're in the alpha 4.03 stage. I believe the premium beta is coming out very soon. So, as you can see, for any of you who've watched my previous video, the menus have changed slightly. We're going to be looking at multiplayer gameplay, although I suspect we probably won't see many other ships flying about. So let's get started. What I'd like to do is go through some of the basics that I had to figure out, as there are no tutorials in the game in its current stage. I'll assume many of you have played the original Elite games, so you'll be very excited to see what's on offer. As you can see, we're in Azaban City. I'd actually like to go back down. Oh, return to surface. We're at the surface. There we go. Return to the hangar. First, I'd like to go through some of my controls. Let's go to options, controls. Customize your controls and get very, very familiar with them. I personally use a Corsair K95 keyboard and M95 mouse. They are fantastic for games like this because you can just map keys to your keyboard and mouse wherever you want. So some of these controls won't make any sense, but if it's helpful, for example these two, I've got these on the back of my mouse, the kind of up and down buttons at the back. But yeah, certainly worth setting up your controls. And those are the ones that just work for me. I hope I've not gone through those too fast. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, I'll go through what we have at Starport Services. So for any of you who have the alpha, and I don't know whether the beta is going to be the same, but with the alpha you actually start off just floating up in front of the space station, and the trickiest part is just getting into it and landing. I will show you how to land in this game and how to dock. It's actually really quite simple. A lot of the fun in this game is just figuring things out, as it was in the original games actually. So by all means, I don't think you have to watch a tutorial to get into this game unless you're relatively new to these types of games. If we go to Starport Services, first of all, I'll just show you what we have here. So in the space station, you can see this is the ship I've got. My name's Commander Satoshi Nakamoto, in homage to the Bitcoin founder. Let's have a look. So you can see my weapons there. You can do some repairs. I won't go through those right now because they don't need any repairs. Commodities market's the main one that I tend to focus on. I think probably most players will. Outfitting, you can see the ship here. You can see my weapons, different areas and things. At the moment, can't do anything. I suspect it's because I've not really got much money. I've got a lightweight alloy. I have no idea what that is. Let's get it. It's free. What have I done? Yeah, usually it says that. I have no idea what I've just done. Maybe someone can tell me. Oh, can't do anything else, right? Okay. In the shipyard, you can see a few ships that you could buy. The Sidewinder you'll always get as part of your insurance policy. Hopefully I won't have to show you that, because that will mean I would have crashed, but you can get your ship back if you've crashed. And in contacts you've got Pilots Federation, that's for kind of your criminal record things, and in some stations you have a black market, but not all. It'll only show things here, I would suspect, if you've got illegal goods in your cargo. And as you can see, I've got a few things in my cargo there. I'm already set up ready to go. So commodities market, I'll just show you what the market's like. So this is the market. It looks very busy at first, but actually it's the first column for the price of everything. This column tells you what you've got in your stock. So in Azaban City, I've actually bought a couple of liqueurs as they're in high supply and they don't want any. So their price here is 420. You can see there the buy and sell price. The galactic average, this column is very handy for this game. I think it's probably something I used to do in the old game, and used to have reams of stuff written out to try and work these out. I suppose they figured out that actually it'd be easier to give you these. This just tells you what the average price is across the galaxy, I assume. Just looking at the thing. So essentially, if you find that you've got something in this column which is cheaper than that column, it's probably worth buying. But bear in mind, some places, for example, in particular, liqueurs might not be accepted on other planets, might be considered illegal. So you need to be careful with what you get, and what I would strongly suggest is that you buy a few different types of things if you're new to the game, so that you're not stuck with a bunch of stuff you can't sell after a wasted journey. Okay, so I think that's done. Let's have a look. If we have a look now inside our ship, so I've linked these to my F1, F2, F3 keys. Go through these very quickly. So this panel here on the right tells us a bit about ourselves, modules and things. You can turn these on and off if you need to save power at any point in the game. Your fire groups, what I've got, so I've got 2 liqueurs and 2 algae as well, and some other bits and bobs. Go across to the other panel. This is the interesting one. This is what tells you what's in the area. So currently we're in the system of Iranin, and we're on Azaban City. Where I want to go, let's try this one, LP whatever. So I'll just lock destination for now. I don't want to hyper jump from within a space station, they might not like that. And return to surface. Just remember, at the bottom right there you can adjust your, where it says system, engine and weapons, you can make some minor adjustments there if needed, to where your power is going. Right, so here it goes. So as soon as you launch, you'll be disengaged from the platform that you're on. We're inside a rotating space station. It'll make a lot more sense when I come in to land at the next space station, what I'm talking about. Got to be very careful watching out for traffic and things, and clearly it does not want me to go. It's probably timed out. Okay, back at the surface. So now I'm released. Oh, they don't sound happy. I'm loitering. So, one of my problems I have with this game is it's not really clear when the landing gear is up, when the landing gear is down. There's nothing on the picture on the right. The only thing you notice is when you accelerate and let go, can you see that it just kind of drops back down? I don't know if you can see where I'm talking about. It just drops back down. That's kind of a hint that you're in, your landing gear is still down. If you put the landing gear up, I'll stay very quiet and just have a listen. That's the only indication you get. So they need to change that. I think they need to put a little, you know, notification that your landing gear is doing something. So we've already set our destination. We did that earlier. If you look just above where my speed is, you can see like a little target picture with a yellow dash. That kind of tells me where I need to look. So I'm looking there, and you can see in the distance LP, whatever you call that. Okay, now in getting around in Frontier there are 2 options. There's something called a hyper jump, which will take you to a different system, which is many light years away. And there's something called something like frame shift, I can't remember what it's called, which is kind of like the original fast forward you used to get in Frontier Elite 2. The difference is obviously you cannot fast forward because this is an online world, so I don't know how that would translate into something realistic, but it essentially does the same thing. So if I press H,
drive charging.
That's just my key map for hyperspace jump. Move some power to the engines.
4, 3, 2,
1. And it throws us straight to the sun. There's the sun there. Now we're actually in the second mode I talk about, which is that frame shift thing. I'm probably calling it the wrong thing. I really can't remember what it was called. But as you can see, I'm traveling at 20 kilometers per second, which is not a normal speed. What I would suggest is moving a bit away from the sun before you do anything. Let's go back to our map. So here you can see LP whatever is at the top. And that looks like a port there, free port. Let's go there. Okay, and all we need to do is look at it. And we basically have to just fly there essentially. But this is like very speeded up. If you get too close to something, it will kick you out of this. If you double click the button that you've got for it, it'll throw you out as an emergency. In fact, you know what, I'll do that just for kicks. So that's the emergency stop, if you need to. At the moment, it doesn't seem to cause any damage to the ship. I'm sure they will change that. Yeah, it is called frame shift. Okay, let's get started again. So this is the normal kind of speed. As you can see, just reset that for now. So if I press frame shift,
drive charging.
it looks very similar to a hyperspace jump.
Ready to engage.
Just down below.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And we're back into that kind of fast-forwarded mode. The important thing in this mode is keep an eye on your distance and try not to overshoot. It just gets really irritating. I'm probably going to overshoot. I'll be cheeky and just jump out here if I have to. Wow, it's very close. Let's see, where am I going? There's Freeport. Here is a planet called... no idea. I'm probably too close to frame shift from here. So let's see what this asteroid belt is like. I wonder if those were all little rocks.
Drive charging. 4, 3,
Might kick me out here.
1.
Oh, seems okay. Let's go and have a look. So the proper way to come out of frame shift, if I can show you, bring your speed down. They just look like little speckles, don't they? Yeah, so bring your speed down to like this 20 kilometers per second and then just press frame shift and then it'll release you normally. Where's the fun in that? It'll try and assist you as you go along, so for example, it's only letting me go up to 200 kilometers per second. I think the main reason for that is that I'm very close to this planet, as you can see. The proximity warnings at the top of the screen there. Move away a bit, it might let me go. Anyway, we're nearly there. just need to jump out somewhere nearby. It will say safe to disengage. Ah, there it is. Basically, I think if you just disengage now, it'll put you right in front of the spaceport. It does make it a little bit easy for you. Sometimes the game does this. I suspect they'll fix it, or maybe it's just loading up the local area. Or maybe it's just my copy. Oh, has it crashed? Oh, thank God for that. Oh, there we go. There's Freeport. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, this is me, by the way. Pretty cool interiors on these ships. Right, let's have a look. We've got Freeport, it's already locked. Can't contact them yet because we're not close enough, so let's just get a bit closer. So this is the space station, just like the one that I left earlier. As you can see, it's this big kind of, I don't know what shape you describe it as, some kind of cube or whatever. Let's boost our way over there. So when you first start the alpha demos, you basically start in this position in front of one of these space stations. And what you'll notice is you'll see it's just kind of rotating. Try and look for the side that's got a load of adverts and billboards next to it. If you imagine it like a planet with a north and a south pole and rotating on its axis, the entrance is either going to be on the north or the south. I suspect there's a better way of figuring that out, but that looks like the wrong side. Yeah, that's the wrong side. Let's go around. Ah, there it is. So you see there, it's got some landing lights and stuff. Get in a better position. Right, so before I make my approach, controls you need to be familiar with. You need to obviously be able to accelerate and decelerate. You should be able to do that by now. You can move left and right. You can rotate, as you would do with normal flight. The other keys you probably would want to know about as well is to kind of shimmy left and right. I don't know what you call that exactly, but I think the default keys for that are Q and E. And the other ones are to move vertically up and down, so that's moving vertically up very, very slow, but you'll need that for when you're landing. This place looks like a pain because it's rotating, but when you get inside, the ship automatically corrects for that, so you're not trying to compensate for a rotating space station. Okay, so let's give them a call. So these things are called Coriolis starports.
Request granted.
Very slowly moving. At the moment we're in normal flight mode, which is a bit too much. We'll put the landing gear out in a moment, and then you'll see it moves a lot slower. key that's always handy to remember is X, which is to quickly reset your speed. So we're inside the space station now. I believe everything's corrected rotationally, so you can see the space station doesn't look like it's rotating. I'm going to go to landing pad 27, which is that one down there. Press get our landing gear out. Don't know if you heard that, but that is all you hear when the landing gear comes out. You can see the way that it accelerates is a bit different. It resets it back to 0 each time. Just very gentle. So as you approach, the display at the bottom will change. So you can see the ship there above. If you go a bit forward, you see the little red dot underneath the ship. Just get the red dot in the circle there. Move left a bit. There you go. And then just lower the ship with your vertical thrusters.
Docking successful.
Done. And here we are at Freeport. Back in the commodities market, and you can see here that they like these. We've made a nice bit of profit there. Guess I don't seem to mind these either. And then you need to see what kind of things they've got on offer. This is where it comes really handy to have a pen and paper in hand. Yes, there's galactic averages. Yes, you can look at the values and compare, and you've got supply and demand. What you can't see is what different space stations actually accept, because some of these would be classed as illegal in some stations. Even things like animal meat in the old games would be classed as illegal. So you might want to just get a pen and paper handy and write those things down. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. I'm sorry it's been a while since I last posted a video on Frontier. If you've got any questions, please leave a comment down below, and thanks for watching.